Good afternoon, everyone. It is glorious moment to extend my warm wishes on behalf of the ACM Student Chapter, University of Engineering and Management, UEM Jaipur. I want to convey my heartfelt gratitude to the Professor Dr. Gururaj HL for accepting the invitation and presiding this webinar on machine learning application in food engineering. Before we begin the webinar, I would like to talk about our speaker, Professor Dr. Gururaj HL. He is working as an associate professor in computer science and engineering with the Vardhaka College of Engineering, Mysore. He received Young Scientist Award of International Travel Grants from ITS ACRB DST Government of India in December 2016. He has been involved in research projects in a range of agriculture, health, education, arts, culture, and community. He leads the research, design, and development community Wing Wireless Inter-Network Group. He is a multi computer science computer scientist who has worked on computer network and its application for the past 8 years. His contribution towards QoS aware network congestion control, network security, cloud computing, and machine learning is tremendous. So now I would like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Engineering and Management UVM Jaipur, Professor Dr. Vishwajay Chatterjee, to give us introduction about our ACM chapter. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sahitya. But I must say that people are actually excited to hear about the topic from Dr. Gururaj sir and machine learning and its applications in food engineering. So I should not talk too much over here because I am not the center of attraction. Dr. Gururaj sir definitely is. But I must say what I was discussing with Dr. Gururaj sir, that even from all domains, biotechnology, from hotel management, definitely computer scientists, everybody took interest in the topic as soon as it was floated in our group. So I'm sure there is right now, I can see 287 attendees are there. All members are very excited to hear from you, and especially this domain, machine learning and food engineering, is very, very interesting. Regarding SEM, SEM is really doing a very good job. SEM chapter is doing a very good job, and people like Sahitya Roy, whom you heard, he's a student of UEM Jaipur, passing from first year to second year, and they are doing very good under Professor Dr. Mrinal Kanti Shorkar, who is the head of the department of CSE, as you can see him on screen. So thank you. I believe that in future also you will keep on bringing in scientists of the caliber of Dr. Gururaj sir, so that we can be enlightened and we can keep on knowing new things from people like them. I congratulate ACM for doing this wonderful job. Thank you. Thank you. Dr.
Thank you
Gururaj sir, I
for
request you to kindly take over from here.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Before starting with the session, I would like to thank, the nice gesture given by the Chancellor, sir, Vice Chancellor, sir, and also the head of the department and also Mr. Sahitya. So thank you so much for the nice gesture. So let me share my screen and let me start. Thank you so much. Kindly acknowledge once the screen visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible. Okay, it is perfectly visible.
Yes, okay. Guys, very good afternoon. As the topic talks about machine learning and its applications in food engineering, see, this is one of the finest topic where the people are doing lot of research on food engineering, especially. So machine learning is one of the finest topic. It's booming across the globe. Okay. Before going into the topic, let me introduce myself. I'm Guraj Hitchell and I'm working in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering from the College of Vardhaka College of Engineering, Mysuru. And I'll share my PPT with the organizer. I think you can know me more about me in the social media platforms. Yes. So let me begin with an example. Okay. I think you can able to see the screen, right? So in this, the mail classification has been done. How it has been done? They call it as they called it as basic mail, primary mail, social emails, and promotional mails. Correct? No. So how this can be does? It is one of the prime example or prime epitome of machine learning. Let me go with one more example. I think the recommendation system talks about the type of recommendation given for the user. Okay, so this recommendation system, especially nowadays when we are dealing on online online things and all, we have to get to know what exactly which we require and what exactly I am not at all able to see to it. Okay, so this kind of recommendation system plays an important role in case of this machine learning. How this work? For example, a typical example which I quoted on the screen says that I'm into a genre of a movie which I want to see, old classical movies and all. Somebody is very good at genre of comedy, okay, or somebody might be good at music. That depends, correct? So that recommendation, they used to pop up a window on when you used to open the website, correct? They are the better example for recommendation system. Okay, they are the better example for recommendation system. Okay, so this is one more example. Similarly, when you travel across, before this generation, we used to have a Google Map without satellite communication, but nowadays we have the satellite communication. Along with that, we have an advanced technology in which we can able to check out whether the traffic is busy or not. Correct. See, when I'm traveling from one place to other place, I will able to get a message saying that don't go in this way. If you go in this way, there is a huge traffic. Correct. No. So these kind of modifications or these kind of changes, this kind of advancement, we can able to see just with the help of machine learning. Okay. So by knowing all these basic definitions of machine learning, what exactly the meaning of machine learning? Machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence. Okay. So let me formally define it. Machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence, in which that ability to automatically learn with the help of experience without being programmed. Okay, I don't want to program anything. I just want to learn the things based on experience, or based on the previous or the past experience. Okay, and it is a big ocean in artificial intelligence. I think many of you people know about this. Artificial intelligence is a big ocean. Within that, we have various categories, like we have data science, we have machine learning, we have deep learning, and other things. Correct? No. So out of that, machine learning nowadays booms like anything. Okay. So whatever the technology you want to do it, whatever the medical technology, it might be industrial applications, it might be medical application, it might be banking applications, what not. All the applications we can adopt with the help of machine learning. Okay. One such application which I want to depict in front of you guys today is called as artificial intelligence, sorry, machine learning applications on food engineering. Okay. Let me throw some light on machine learning for first half of my session. Then let me directly shoot you guys on more insight on food engineering application. Machine learning basically classified into three categories. One is supervised learning, one is unsupervised learning, and one is reinforcement learning. Many of you people know about this. What is supervised learning? What is unsupervised learning? And what is reinforcement learning? Just as a part of my talk, let me give the brief introduction towards all these things. Okay, guys, if you have any questions at any point of time, please stop me, or else you can send your questions in the chat window. At the end of my session, we can take the questions. Okay, don't please hesitate. If you have anything, you can put up your question. Okay, especially the first category of machine learning called as supervised learning. Supervised learning is a type of machine learning technique in which the complete data will be labeled. Okay, hence the collection of data we can call it as labeled data. Okay, and the second category of machine learning we have called as unsupervised learning. We'll go with one by one in a greater details later in a couple of minutes. And unsupervised learning is one of the type of machine learning technique in which we don't have any type of segregation of labeled and non-labeled data. It is a raw data which will pass in case of unsupervised learning. What is the meaning of raw data? The direct data which is not at all processed. Okay, such data will be passed to the model, and the model will evaluate the data based on the type and features. We'll explain that later. Okay, so the third important type of machine learning we have called as reinforcement learning, and this reinforcement learning is also called as the learning with the help of mistakes and apprehensions. Okay, if you do some mistake, we'll punish, right, and we'll do a good job, we'll appreciate. These are the kind of apprehension or mistake we have in case of reinforcement learning. Okay, and especially supervised learning, I think you can see here, the complete data set which I want to process in the model will be modeled before sending the data. Okay, so especially this kind of supervised learning is a most popular type of machine learning, and it is easier to understand, and it is simple, very simple to implement. It's not complicated, and it is very simple to teach a child with a small examples like for cupcake and apple. Okay, so given the data in the form of examples with labels, we can feed a learning algorithms which are the examples, and we can call them as labels. Okay, for examples, we can have here two columns. The first column we can call it as the apple, and the second column we can call it as a cake. Okay, any cake, any input which we pass to that machine learning model, the based on the past experience what we fed, it will decide yes, it is a cupcake. Understood? So this is a better example for machine learning with respect to supervised learning. Okay, so the second important category of machine learning is called as unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning, again, as I already insisted you guys, we are not at all passing the data which are labeled. All the data is called as raw data. You can see here the complete architecture of unsupervised learning. The raw data will be passed to the algorithm. The algorithm will decide based on the various features that are there in the data, and then it will decide yes, this is this belongs to this category, this belongs to this category. It will classify. Okay, so I cannot use it as a classify. It might be a classing also, but it will based on the different parameters, it will divide. Okay, once after division, the data will be processed, and then it will give an output as output 1, output 2, and output 3. Okay, so this is the best example, this is the better picture representation of unsupervised learning. In case of supervised learning, the data is already labeled, and based on the trained model, the data has to be decided that belongs to this category or that category or the third category. Correct? No, but in case of unsupervised learning, it's not like that. The complete data which we are passing the system as a raw data, based on the raw data, the data has to be divided. Okay, based on the features or based on the it's a laborious process to deal with. I'm not going to teach the complete machine learning model, just I'm giving a flavor of it, and directly I'll switch on to my core topic of today called as food engineering topic. Okay, that feature is called as feature extraction, and it follows. Okay, and the third important type of machine learning, what we are called as reinforcement learning. As you can see here, reinforcement learning, again, one of the prime category of machine learning. Okay, what it does in case of reinforcement learning, it's similar to the dog, how we teach the dog. We make the dog to do different actions. We'll make the actions to dog to do various kind of activity and all. Correct? No, we'll throw the ball and we'll ask the dog to pick the ball. Correct? No, so these kind of activities done by the dog when the owner insists the dog to do it. When the dog do it perfectly fine, what the owner will do, he'll appreciate, or he will give some biscuit or something. Correct? No, so that is called as appreciation. Or else in another way, if the same dog, if the dog will do some mistake, what immediately the owner will do, obviously it will beat the dog or it will punish in the other way. Correct? No, so this is same as of your reinforcement learning. Okay, so these are the three important categories of machine learning. One is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Okay, guys, we have tremendous examples, we have tremendous applications of all these categories. It might be classification, it might be clustering, it might be of anything. Okay, so we have a lot of algorithms, starting from here, the naive Bayes, KNN algorithm, classification algorithms like various reinforcement regression models we have, decision trees we have, CART algorithms we have, CART C5 algorithm, C4 algorithm, and we have various algorithms. Okay, so out of these algorithms, what we have right now, I'll pick up a couple of examples to explain you guys. The one is one of the basic algorithm of clustering called as K-mean clustering algorithm. Okay, how K stand for n value or K value. Okay, how the data will be clustered based on the basic Euclidean distance formula. Okay, so that will be does with the help of x1 square minus y, y2 square. Okay, this C stand for centroid of an element. In that particular region will identify one point as centroid, and in this blue region will identify one point as centroid, and similarly in this region will identify one point as centroid, and that is the value C here. And each and every point which I'm going to consider is called as x value, case 1, case 2, case 3, and case n. Okay, and this is what exactly the activate function of k-mean clustering algorithm. Based on the distance or minimum distance, it will be decided that belongs to this cluster, or the other cluster. Okay, just I'm telling you guys, it's an overview I'm giving. I'm not going with the greater details of it. Okay, so just a flavor which is required for the talk of the day. And one more important classification we have called as naive-Bayes classification. In case it will does the prime principle of naive-Bayes algorithm is probability. Okay, especially we can call it as Bayes theorem. If you remember, Bayes theorem follows like this: probability of A divides B gives probability of B divides A into probability of A divided by probability of B. Okay, so this is called as Naive's algorithm. This completely follows with respect to Naive's algorithm like this. Okay, and all your mails which had already depicted, which fundamentally follows the principles of Naive's algorithm actually. Okay, all your mail classification. Okay, so one more important, I think you can check out whatever the research paper or research article you want. All the research articles, they used to follow decision tree algorithm. Okay, so why decision tree? Because it will give a fantastic two important features. One is called as pruning, and one is called as induction. Pruning is a technique in which I wanted to add up some extra question or extra node. We can call it as pruning. If you want to reduce some question which is not at all required or relevant for this problem solving, we have to delete that. We can call it as induction. Understood? Okay, these are the two important categories methods of decision trees. Let me take one example and let me finish off this machine learning part, guys. Okay, so the example is there was a kid, and the kid want to go out and he want to play a game. What the kid will do? Will start from the central node. The kid will go out and he'll check out whether the whether it's summer, hot, or it's sunny, or it's rainy. If it is sunny, he will do some task. If it is rainy, also he will do some task. Correct? No? If it is rainy, he will go with some indoor games. If it is sunny, he will go with the outdoor games. Correct? No? So within the house, he can able to play as whether it's rainy. Within that home, he can play individual games, or else he can play he can involve group games also, like carom board or whatever. Correct? No? So again, that divides. Okay, whether if you go out and you want to play, he will check out whether it's alone or is with friends to play the group games. Correct? No? And it follows, guys. It's not never ending based on your questions. Okay, based on your questions. Okay, based on your thoughts, based on your feature extraction. So what I want to tell you, some situations within which I don't require some options which are not at all required to check out in my problem statement. In such situation, I can leave that node, leaf node, and we can call it as induction. Okay, and if you want to add some extra question for the relevant problem statement, we can call it as pruning. Okay, so guys, this is one of the typical example, and at the end of the day, we will end up with the leaf node, and we can call them as decision making nodes. Okay, this is the overall summary of decision trees, and explicitly I taken decision tree because it is one of the finest algorithm that will be played a vital role for classification. Okay, and now guys, I am into the picture of food engineering. Food engineering, before a decade, it was called it as food science. Well, now they called it as food engineering. Why? Because before it was used with the help of chemical and physical laboratories. They used to do a lot of experiments. But nowadays, along with those chemical and physical labs, the people adapting engineering knowledge to food science, and they called it as food engineering. Okay, food engineering, hence it is a multidisciplinary branch of applied physical, which combines science, microbiology, and engineering knowledge for food and related things. Okay, so hence it is called as food engineering nowadays. And many of the people get confusion. Food engineering means that it's coming up with a new product and testing the chemical chemistry lab or physics lab, chemical labs. No, it's not like that. It begins with the soil where we grow the plants to get the food grains to develop the food product, to the marketing field, to the packing industry, to the lot of various aspects we have. It's not only one food product developed and packing. No, it's not like that. Okay, so it's a huge one. It's not one or two. It includes microbiology, it includes material engineering, it includes emissions, it includes hygiene. Hygiene is an important task nowadays. All the aspects are very much required in case of food engineering. And now we can call it as food in sorry the food engineering, the technical knowledge essentially required to produce an effective food product. So, okay, guys, let me discuss this effective production of the food products in a couple of slides later. But we are very much happy to go with a new product, correct? No, new food product and new taste. The people are very eager and they are waiting actually, correct? No, so instead of having the same routine thing, those who come up with a new product, they will be having a huge market, correct? No, so that is one of the important aspect of food engineering, effective food production. The second thing is when we have environment when we have one working in the food industry where literally thousands of different jobs are available. Okay, so I think we can have some question, I guess, some engineering something. Can I take up your questions at last? Is that okay? I'll take up all your questions in the
Absolutely, absolutely,
last 10 minutes.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah,
That
thank
will be
you.
good.
Else it will intervene my flow. So let me take all the questions at the end of my session. Guys, please post a question, whatever the type of question, it never matter for me. If I know, I'll try to do my best. Okay. So the second important aspect of food engineering is we have multiple, we can have a job opportunity and we can have research opportunity. We can have sales, marketing, manufacturing, and in all aspects. Okay. Hence, it is one of the fundamental usage we have here called as food engineering. Let me begin the challenges and issues what we have. I think if you remember, the food supply, storage, and transport are the main important aspects initially. Correct? No? When they begin with the food engineering concepts and all, they have the three important concepts: were supply of the food, and storage of the food, and transportation of the food. Okay, so they are, and that too, I have to do it some reasonable cost. I cannot go with the higher cost because I cannot able to reach the each and every person of the nation. Correct. So when I want to go with I want to touch all the people in the nation, I have to go with reasonable cost. How I can go with machine learning algorithms or some adapting algorithms such a way that I can reduce the cost. Okay. So these are the different I know techniques where we can use it. Okay. And it's not only restricted to that food processing and food manufacturing and food packaging technique. And guys, it's not about, I think I will discuss this nutritious and malnutrition and example case study later, but that also comes under food engineering, guys. Why? Because safety food, nutritious food matters a lot. It's not about how much food I'll take. Okay, I may look very lean, correct? No, but somebody who is taking very less food, he may look very fat. It does not mean that he's having nutritious food, he's consuming less nutritious food. No, it's not like that. Okay, it's all about the type of food and what it consists of. Correct? No, so let me discuss one by one. Okay, one of the finest, the first application which I wanted to begin right now is one of the finest application of food engineering, regardless of machine learning application, is classification of vegetables. The first application. Okay, so I'll tell you guys, if you go to some market for taking the vegetables, never the matter what vegetable or fruits or whatever, you will check out and you'll pick up, correct? You never simply go to rush to the market. You'll simply take some vegetables, put it in your basket, come back. No, nobody will do that. We will verify, we'll check out, we'll see the things, we'll touch the vegetable, we'll do all the activities whichever we are comfortable with, correct? No, so at the end of the day, we wanted to take the food products which are really good. That is a whole sole intention. And but it's a tedious job. Okay, I cannot segregate at a market level. So there is a company who were developing lot of insights towards this, called as Tomra. TOMRA. Okay, you can see here the name of the company, Tomra, and they developed a algorithm that will decide whether this tomato is good, and it will categorize the tomato based on the gradings. Grade 1 tomato, grade 2 tomato, grade 3 vegetable, and all. Based on the, if it is completely not completely ripened and which is not at all good, it will be discarded immediately. If it is ripened, not completely ripened, it will classify. Based on the size, it will classify. Understood? By adapting suitable machine learning algorithm, classification algorithm, we can able to classify the tomato, or it might be any vegetable, based on the features extraction we can have there. Okay, that depends. That depends. With respect to this tomato, we can have size of the tomato, or color of the tomato, or shape of the tomato. Correct? No? So that depends. That depends. Okay, based on the ultrasonic sensors, usage of ultrasonic sensors, and based on the feature extraction what were adapted, based on the machine learning algorithms, we can able to come up with a classifier. And nowadays we have also they have already come up with the classifier, but we can able to come up with a novel classifier that will that will provide better efficiency and better accuracy compared to the existing one. Okay, that is one important application which I want to pose in front of you guys, called as vegetable classifier. Okay, and they used to have a tagline like this: the products in the same way the customers do. How the machines, customers, consumers will check out the product, in the same way the machine will check out the product. Okay, so the same thing what we used to do when we go to market. Correct? No? So it is one of the important aspects of food engineering. Okay. The second important application, especially in this scenarios of COVID, or it might be the pandemic situations, in which we wanted to have complete hygiene. Correct. So the hygiene, or we can call it as the sanitation, the complete 100% cleanliness is very much required nowadays. Okay, it's not about how much food you eat, how safely the food you're going to eat, that matters a lot. Okay, so that is called as ensuring the food is safe or not. Correct? No? So there's a company, one important company, again they developed one of the important application called as Kankan. Yeah, Kankan is one of the important application, and they signed a huge product in one of the hotel, and their important thing is they wanted to achieve 100% accuracy based on this technology. How this hygiene will be not maintained in the hotel? Let me explain in a layman example. For example, I'm not sure how the workers in the hotel they're working, right? Whether they are wearing the gloves or they're wearing the head caps, I'm not sure. Correct? So I'll go to hotel on the table. If it is fine, fit and fine, I'll happy eat and I'll come back. Correct? So, but when it comes to the point of this kind of hygienity, the person who cook, or the person who maintain, who cook the food, it matters a lot. Okay, so there is we can use reinforcement learning for. They had used reinforcement learning in Kankan product. It will check out the gloves, or it might be the head caps, and it will decide the methods. Okay, you can see here, guys. You can see here. As I mentioned you guys, that reinforcement learning, which will decide if the person does a job perfectly fine, they will reward. If the person failed to do it, they will punish. Correct? In the same way, here also, the company, they have some rules and regulation. What they have, based on this machine learning algorithm, how they come up with. If the person completely satisfied without having, even though I may wear a cap, but I have not wore the cap properly, that might be a situation. So it will give an alarm signal, and some small amount of restrictions that pose, and will reduce the salary. Correct? No? So if a person who maintains 100% attendance or 100% hygienity, they will be awarded or rewarded with some cash prize or something. Okay, so this kind of reinforcement learning will be commonly used, and that was one of the finest algorithm that is used there to maintain the hygiene of the system. Okay, you can check out here. And guys, the one more important application, let me explain you guys. Okay, can you please tell me? It's not a question, a generic question which I'm posing in front of you guys. How many of you people, guys, say that I'm not at all bored eating my home food? No, not at all. People are very worth to go to hotels or having some other food or having some other flavors and all. Correct? No? So these kind of flavors has to be come up, but there are certain people who really cooks the food and they cannot decide whether the taste is good or not. Correct? No, I cannot come up with a product and ultimately everything will be wasted. So why can't we have a machine learning algorithm? Okay, I think you may feel some fantasy regarding this, but it's fact. It's a really fact. Why can't we have a machine learning algorithm that will decide whether the food product which is good or bad and which is edible or not edible, which is the person can able to the person which are having some disease they can have the food or not. How come? Let me explain the scenario. You don't want to cook manually. You have to train the model in such a way that if I give a flavor of sugar, that will give the resultant as sweet. Understood? Similarly, you have to train the model in such a way that if you are giving something which is bitter in taste, that will give a result answer as bitter. Understood? Something which you are giving some spicy input, ultimately, if you, for example, some something which is chili or something, if you are using in the product, ultimately the output should be some it's spicy. Correct? No? So these kind of machine learning models has to be trained, and you have to come up with a model. Okay, and along with that, you have to input the features in such a way that if the patient is anemic, whether he can able to eat the food or not. If the patient is diabetic, can he able to eat the food or not? That also has to be discussed, come up with the results. So after having all these output, and the food product output will be, yes, the food product is sweet in taste with small amount of it might be some a husky, or it might be something soaked, whatever. And along with that, the food is edible with all generation. It might be adults, youth generation, or anemic, or whatever. Then only we can go for the next product, and that can be converted to a product, and that can be given the advertisement. Understood? The development of new food products is also one of the important aspect of food engineering. For this, let me tell you guys, there is a company called as Gastrograph. You can check out all the company details in the greater details to understand the greater meaning of all different kinds of applications. Okay, one such application which I was discussed already called as Gastrograph. Gastrograph is one of the finest one of the finest application in which we can able to come up with the food products. You can see here the person who's checking in the chemistry lab or chemist, he want to check the food product, and the same machine will does come up with the food product, and they will decide. Understood? Okay, these are the important aspects which we have to know. One of the important application, one of the third applications of food engineering. And the next important application which I want to discuss right now is called as leaf disease detection. You may feel that's why you're discussing leaf when we talk about food engineering. Guys, it does not matter what the food you have and what the quantity of food or quality of the food you have. Along with that, whether the plant is healthy or not, that is very, very important. Okay, so based on the healthiness, or based on the type of plant product, the yield of the plant, we can able to decide the product is good or bad. Okay, so end result does not based only on the second input. It also depend upon the first input, the previous inputs, and all. Okay, so the leaf disease detection can be also identified by taking up lot of images, by passing all the data set to the machine learning algorithms to decide whether the food product out of this plant is yield with this amount of percentage or this amount of loss we have. Okay, so this can be does with the help of including pattern recognition also, that can be combined, and we can able to come up with this. Okay, and we can spot the disease type, and in future we can take up the respective. I think you can go with the villages. India is completely dependent upon villages, and all this food engineering is completely dependent upon villages, village people only. They used to yield the product, and in which they never bother whether the soil is required this kind of fertilizers or this amount of irrigation or not. They, based on the competition with the neighboring farm or the other farm, they simply supply the supplicant. Okay, so This is one of the important aspect of leaf disease detection. Okay. Yeah, exactly. The accuracy of leaf disease can be maintained with the help of satellite communication, also by taking the images, and ultimately it can also decide the yield of the product. Okay, that's also one of the important application of food engineering. Okay, I think crop yield prediction is one of the important aspect. Okay, and many of our students or PhD students, they're working on this, how better accuracy we can achieve with the help of crop yield prediction. I think many of the especially the South India, especially the lot of farmers, they end their life, their suicide, they'll do it because of the yield. Okay, they will only decide that I'll get only this yield, and I will get this amount of yield. If it is today's rate is 5 rupees, yes, I'll get only 5 rupees per kg. So I have to no other option to I have to leave. Okay, so these kind of prediction techniques helps them to leave because it will give the accuracy of somewhat maintaining the accuracy of yield of the crop and also the price of the crop. Price, crop yield prediction and crop price prediction, both are very important. Okay, that can be done with the help of lot of machine learning algorithms by training the model, by varying the data inputs or data which can pass. Okay, this is one more fourth important application which I discussed. And guys, can you please tell me anybody who does not want to milk to drink any day? No, it's not like that. One of the other way, we all depend upon the milk products, correct? Knowingly or unknowingly, we all depend upon the milk products. If you remember, in the one way or the other way, we all depend upon the milk products, correct? No? So the complete milk product is completely depend upon the cattle. Okay, one of the important food engineering technique which can be avoided with the help of cattle disease is lameness. Okay, one of the finest disease that will be commonly appeared in the food cattle, we can call it as lameness of a cattle. How this lameness can be removed? Okay, initial stages of all the cattle lameness will be, it will be looking at one side, it will not having any type of food, it will not consume any food, and it will some watery eyes, all the see, based on the images of the cattle at a different iteration, that matters a lot. I want to tell you one important point right now here. Many people think that data collection is very simple and data collection can be done very easily in case of machine learning. Guys, data collection itself is a big job in case of machine learning. Okay, so simply the data which are readily available in Kaggle or some other data collection websites and downloading those data and passing those data, that will not suffice. That will never suffice for you guys. What you can do is, you have to come up with data sets by collecting the data, and you can post your own data in GitHub or some other social media platform, and you'll get the citations. Understood? That is the importance of data collection. Okay, and for this project also, for a couple of students, they went to visit it a couple of villages, they convinced the farmers and they ready to pay some amount for them, and they requested the people to take the images of the cattle every day, at least 3 or 4 photos from past many months, and they using all the data, they will clean the data. If the data is not fit to that resolution size, they will edit the data files, and they'll do a lot of other cleansing operation, and that data is readily is there. Once the data is completely done, they will consider it as a data, and they will pass the data to the machine learning algorithm. Okay, see, data collection is a beautiful task actually. Okay, so people may feel that data collection, we should not do it. The data readily available, we can download the data, we can pass to it machine learning algorithms. Instead of that, you create your own database. Instead of going to the other plot and building your house, you take your own plot and you build your house. Okay, so that matters a lot. Okay, that is what exactly. And after that, we can measure the quality of the milk, morning the quality, and afternoon quality, noon quality of the milk, evening quality of the milk, based on the 2 iterations, and we can decide whether the based on the lameness the product is less and nutritious values is less or more. Understand? This is also one of the important example application, fifth application of my food engineering. I hope you got convinced with this. You can see the diagrams or see the picture by which we can able to classify whether the machine or whether the cattle is having with lameness or not. Okay. Yes, guys. One more. Well, I think 6 or 7. One more important application we are into, the cleanliness. Okay. Are you sure, guys, when you go to hotel, the vessels what they supply for you, they're very clean and tidy? Are you sure? 100%? How will sure? You have to smell it or you have to check it. Correct? No. So it's not about that. How can we maintain the hygienity of the vessels that they used to supply in the hotels? That can be does with the help of self-automated robots. One of the company we have, or seventh important application of machine food engineering called as SOCIP, self-optimizing clean in place. Okay, it will make sure how it will set up a threshold value. Okay, based on the ultrasonic sensor node, it will check out the vessels, how it was, how it cleansed, and it will decide the parameter of threshold values. If it is above 9, the above 8 or something, it is good. If it is below that, it is not at all good to have. Okay, so these parameters matters a lot when we are doing this kind of socket experiments, like cleaning of vessels or not cleaning of the vessels. Okay, and you guys, believe it or not, the researchers predict that the system could save UK food industries almost 10 million UK dollars. You think of it, how much it will be, it will change, and how much serves the nation. Okay, so this is one important, and nowadays we have to be very sure that how clean the food and how clean the vessels and how will eat. Correct? No? Washing, not only washing the hands will suffice for you guys, also the food where you eat and the vessels on which you eat, that also matters. Okay. Okay, guys, I think I discussed about this. This is also one of the important, very very important application of food engineering called as sensor crop spraying. Okay, it means that I think you can go to classical classical villages. They never bother whether the land required irrigation, the whether the land require fertilizers or not. Based on the competing with the other farmers, they will also supplicants will be passed. Okay, so what the technique they come up with, the machine learning with the robotic technology, in which it will decide based on the temperature, based on the weather, based on the soil contents, then only it will decide to spray the nutrients or spray the supplicants which are required for the crop. Okay, so this is one more important technology which we have to remember. Okay, and right now let me discuss 8th important application of food engineering: chatbots for the farmers. Okay, nowadays a crop yield prediction is also important. Meanwhile, crop price prediction also very very important. Correct? No, so the farmers, they having huge amount of yield in their home. They don't want to bring to the market because the market value is very less and all. So what they can do is they can only market their products to the respective corporates or to the business people, and they can earn the money based on the applications like chatbot application. Okay, it will help, it will based on the user interface, based on the user experiments, they help the farmers to convert the language into local language, and the farmers can able to use it, and they can able to buy the product with a lesser price, with a great benefit. Correct? So at this point I want to discuss two more important applications. This food engineering will not suffice with all these applications what we discussed. It might be cleansing, socket, it might be categorizing, or it might be concern, or it might be gastrograph, or producing the new product. Not only suffice. Along with that, you may have, I think you may observe very important scenarios like floods, or it might be you may observe the scenarios like natural calamities that happens and all. At that time, the people from army people or some people, they used to supply the food to all the people who are they are needy. Okay, where the food will be stored, how they supply, it is called I think we can call it as we can call it as data, as we have data warehouse, we can have food warehouse. The food warehouse companies, they will keep lot of they will keep lot of for 2 years 3 years based on respective supplicants providing with the help of the chemicals, they have to keep it. Correct, no? So those kind of food in the warehouses, whether the food is right or not, whether the food can be given to the respective people or not, these kind of experiments has to be done in case of food engineering technique. The second important, one more important application which I want to discuss is, which whenever I want to fly in the airplane to some other nation or some other parts of the country, for example, when I want to go to some other part of the nation, I want to the people will give the rights to the product that should be because the when you go higher and higher, the oxygen value will be always less. I think we all know it. Okay, so when we have the less oxygen level, can we have all the type of food which are very hard, like meat and all? No, it's very hard. We cannot able to have it. We have to have the food which is light and we can able to digest easily. Right, no, so as we have less oxygen supply, so these kind of operations will be verified only with the help of food engineering technology. Okay, the 11th important application which I want to discuss, recently developed by the one of the organization called as, I'll tell you that organization later. Okay, at last slide. Okay, and I'll tell that application also at last. Okay, yes, I think that's what we're discussing about this called as crop health monitoring. We have to monitor the crop. No, see, we can able to crop yield prediction, crop price prediction, crop health monitoring. Okay, all these things can be done with the help of machine learning methods only. Okay, so based on the supplicants of the images which we pass to the machine learning methods, it will decide whether the crop is healthy or not healthy. Correct, no? So this monitoring also can be done with the help of this kind of machine learning algorithms. Okay, I think I have convinced you guys. Let me go with one important case study which I want to discuss right now. Okay, see, the malnutrition is one of the pathetic situation of India. Not only in India, in the Western countries also we can have this malnutrition as a very sad thing. Okay, the thing is, we can have we can able to have machine learning algorithms to check out whether the food product which where we have grown up is very matters a lot. Okay, so for the malnutrition does not mean that the guy or a girl is or a kid or a small kid and all, they look very fatty or they will look very lean. It's not about that. How healthy the kid is, the average height, the average weight, the average all these matters. Okay, when we talk about the malnutrition, for respect to age, the respect to height should be there. At respect to age, respect to the food quantity he requires. Okay, so how it will decide based on the food what will inhale or what will consume? No, where the food has been grown up, what are the nutrients that has been passed to that soil. Based on this soil is indirectly proportional to the malnutrition of a food and non-malnutrition of a food. And food what he'll consume is directly proportional to the crop where we grow. Okay, so this is a huge project actually the few people are doing at my institute, and this is one of the important application. Couple of students are doing on this, which is one of the important application by visiting various anganwadis in the villages, by collecting all the data at morning what he'll eat, at afternoon what he'll eat, at noon what he'll eat, and weight of the kid, and after 1 month what the weight, what the height, all the food supply what they pass to the anganwadis, they'll verify the food based on this. Okay, so this is one of the important case study, one of the 11th application of food engineering which you can able to learn and which you can able to understand. Okay, yes. Okay, so I think many of you people, I said about this, where there is an organization across India, only one organization called as CFTRI, called as Central Food Research Institute, located at Mysuru, India. Okay, my hometown. This is the place. That is a place in which almost all your quality of the food. For example, I'm coming up with a new product. Whether the product can be released for the market will be decided by that organization only. Once the CFTRI approves, then only the people can able to release to the market. Okay, so some product has been banned, that will be decided by that CFTRI only. And I think you can check out in Google also. You'll get lot of advertisements regarding internship opportunities and everything in CFTRI. Okay, so if the case, let me show you. Okay, I think you can able to see the website in which all your food products, all your the complete detailing. And again, before down the line 5 to 10 years, I used to visit every day, every year for open day in that organization. They used to have only food science, but nowadays they have adapted with various engineering technologies also. Okay, and my couple of students have completed their master's internship in that organization also, and all the food items, all the food products, all the validity verification, everything will be done by this CFTRI Institute. Okay, so I think I have completed all my questions, all my applications of food engineering. Now I think I have 10 more minutes. I think if I'm not wrong, I have 10 more minutes. Can we have the questions? Is anybody there? We discussed almost 10 to 12 applications, starting with classification of the vegetables, the type of food, malnutrition of the food, and the gastrograph, hygienity, all the type of application. I hope so. I convince with you guys. Can we have the questions right now?
Yes, there are a few questions already, sir. I assigned you everything, but I can read it out also if you think so. I will
Oh, one
just
second. Let me
start.
check out. Where's the questions?
If sir, there is
Uh,
something like questions written over there. You can kindly maximize it.
yes,
There is a
yes,
button to
yes,
maximize,
yes.
and you
I
can
got,
see the questions.
I got. Okay. Yes. Let me. Okay. Okay. Let me go with the first question. I think it's not required to read the names. Using this technique, wastage of food crops will be greatly reduced, giving higher yields to farmers. Yes, it's a suggestion. Yes, sir. Yes, we can do it. Mhm. Yes. Yes, there are many machine learning algorithms. Yes, we have a quick question. Good afternoon, sir. There are many machine learning algorithms still now. If given a data set, how can one determine which algorithm can be used for that, and how to collect the data? Yeah, yeah, very good. Okay, see, there are certain website. Okay, in our state, we can collaborate with agriculture departments. Okay, so we can able to collect the food from them. And but even though we have agriculture departments, there are set of food industries, and there are some government organizations. They have some protocols not to give the food data sets. At such situation, I can tell you guys, we can able to collect the data. The data collection itself is a very good task actually. Okay, I think we can do that. And regarding here, which machine learning algorithms that will be if you want to be a master, once you become a somewhat some knowledgeable person in machine learning algorithms, then you can able to decide. Then you can able to compare decent with CAT. Then you can able to compare decent algorithm with linear regression models. Correct? No. So after comparing all these algorithms, you can able to come to a conclusion that yes, this is the algorithm which is best suitable for this data sets. Correct? No. So I think that is a way we can able to choose. I hope so. I had answered your question, Shubham sir. Okay. Let me go with the next question. Hmm. How to collect the food in engineering industry data? I think I had answered the question already. How to select important variables while working on a data set? Yes, variables, or we can also call it as parameters, or we can also call it as variables. We can also call it as feature extraction. See, it all about expertise on that particular product. Okay. See, if I want to develop a new product, and I want to if I want to work on some problem statement, and I want to check out, for example, leaf disease, I have to check out the thickness of the leaf. I have to check out the size of the leaf. I have to check out the color of the leaf. I have to check out the dimensionality of the leaf. I have to check out various things. See, it's all about expertise in how you can involve into it. Okay. So along with that, you can refer to the related works which are already done by a lot of other researchers, and to take those papers and to take those features also. It's not a wrong thing. You can take out the features which are already used, and you can also do it. That's also one more option you have. Okay. I think I had answered your question. The next question, is it possible to detect whether the food is poisoned or not? Yes, yeah, it's a very good problem statement actually. But make sure that it requires a lot of greater knowledge, because the person should know the poisonous food variables, parameters, or the features, and also the non-poisonous. So I think instead of calling it as a poisons and all, what we can call it as, we can set a threshold and we can call it as good to eat and not good to eat. That is better instead of going with directly poisons and non-poisonous. Okay. Yes, we can go with that also. I think I had answered your question, sir. What next? How can we identify the plant by leaf scanning using machine learning? Using these techniques, wastage of food crops will be greatly reduced, giving higher yield to farmers. Okay. Yes, sir. That's what I said. That's what. Instead of making the farmers to die, we have to provide better yield to the farmers, and we can able to identify the leaf disease in the initial stages. Leaf, crop predict crop yield can be predict at the initial stage instead of deciding at a later stage, and we can able to health of the crop also can be monitored at the initial stages and all. I think by which we can able to get solve that. Okay. How much data will I allocate for my training? Well, that depends. See, people usually you can go for UG students and PG student validation and verification of the projects. They will use 500 data sets and they will say that I have 100% accuracy. Correct? No, I'll give an example for this. Even after having an experience of 10 to 15 or 20 years experience, doctor fails to predict the cancer patients. Correct? So what the meaning of this is, it's not about the taking the data how much you want. It's as much large data as you make the machine to learn perfectly, the machine becomes validation also becomes perfect and verification also becomes perfect. Take as many as data set as you want. That's the best part I can take for verification, validation, and also for testing. Okay. There are many people they take 70% for training and 30% for testing. So that does not matter to fail for one test also. Correct? No. So take as much as more data as you can. Okay. I think I had answered your question, Sahitya. And what is the advantage and disadvantage claims clustering when I use air pollution? Okay. Yeah, it's not a food danger, but also I can answer for this. See, K-means clustering can be used for various problem statements. It does not for only for air pollution or classification of the foods. No, it's besides on the parameters which are considered for that particular problem statement, we have to decide. Okay, based on the data type or data what are considered, based on the how many clusters you want to decide. Based on that, we can able to decide Clemens is suitable for that or not. Okay, I think I had answered all your question. Can anybody verify and please tell me?
There are many more questions in the question panel, which I have not allocated it to you. It was presented to this questions panel while you were answering. So should I present all the questions now, or you have something more to cover after that?
I think if I had answered all the questions, I think I don't want to take up the same questions again and again. As you said, instead I can post something like my resources that might be useful for you guys also. Let me share a few resources of mine. Yes, this is one of my sorry. my website, my research guys are working, and we have a lot of projects. Initially, we have not embedded here, but we have a lot of projects also working. It's called as Wing Wireless Internet Working Group, and I think 1 second. Okay. Here we'll usually call for internship for the students, and students will work and they'll do the projects here. And lot of collaborators also, they are working with us. They'll also guide the students to work for various projects. They will only give you problem statements. And one of the other couple of organizations also, they collaborated with us. And lot of projects will do, a lot of papers also will publish. We have incubation center and all. If anybody wants to do send your student for intensive for BTech and MTech, we hardly will take up without any fees. We'll take up the students virtually right now, and if everything went fine, we'll take up offline also. This is one thing. And here the students are working on right now malnutrition project. They're working on that, and that is one thing. And you can check my website for recent call for papers and workshops. You can see recently I have one book on convergence of IoT with blockchain technology. Similarly, I have a lot of other books also coming up on food science also. On healthcare also I have one more book. If you guys are really wanted to contribute something on that, please you can check my website. If you want to contribute your contribution, we are very happy to take your chapters to the books. Okay, that is second resource which I want to share. And yeah, I think I'm done. That's all from my side. If anything, if you guys want to ask, or if you want to share, or if you want to portray, it might be very simple also. I'm very happy to take up your questions or whatever.
So there are few more questions in the question panel which I have allocated to you. You may very quickly check whether like it needs any other answer or you have already covered. I have assigned about 5 to 6 more
Sure.
questions to you. Yeah.
100%, sir. 100%. Let me check out.
I think it starts with a question from Shushmita Pratihar. What are the advantages of Naive Bayes?
1 second, sir. Yes. Okay. I think I had answered. Okay. I got. Can anybody help me to read the questions? That might be helpful, I guess, because I cannot able to
Yes,
scroll
definitely.
down.
No, definitely. So the first question is, what are the advantages of Naive Bayes? That was by Shushmita Pratihar. That was the first question. After
Yes. Can I go with the answer for this, or okay?
yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, I think Sushmita, I think you have to know the basics of all the algorithms. Why naive-based algorithms is very fine, because it is very simple and very easy to implement. Okay, because it's going to have only probability function, and it does not require much training data also. Okay, my dear friends, naive-based algorithm 100% it will not require much data. Okay, so based on the training data, it will decide. It handles both continuous data. Sometimes it also handles discrete data. Okay? I think many of the students, many of the people will get confusion with this kind of data. Continuous data is one data we have a relevance, but discrete data we don't have any relevance. Okay, so if we have the first data, the second data is totally somewhat related on the first data. But in case of discrete data, it's not like that. The data is completely defined. Okay, completely unique. Okay, so whenever we use naive-bayes algorithm, we don't have any discretion of using this kind of data. You can use whatever the data you want. And the fourth important advantage is that it is highly scalable, and we can use more number of predictors and data points. They are the advantages. I think these technical terms you may feel fascinating, but when you go the greater details of each and every algorithm, I think it will be which makes you suffice, I guess. I think I had
Okay,
answered your question.
right. So the next question is from Shomodip Mitra. He asks, sir, as you said, food engineering application, but what do you think? How? Okay. I think Shomodi, we need to just frame your question a little bit better. Like what you think, or how
Yes, I can see
beverage
the question.
industry, yes,
Yes,
how
sir, I can see
beverage
the
industry
question.
use AI, as recently Coca-Cola started to use it. So is it not harmful for us because they made the drinks by preservatives? Okay, so that was the question, sir.
Oh, but I didn't got the question properly. But I'll try to manage to answer. Yes. Of course, for that matter, can you tell me any technology or any technique only having the pros without cons? No, it's not like that. I can tell you like this, whatever the type of application and how we'll use matters a lot. Okay, so I think which machine learning algorithms which reduces a human effort, which provides better efficient techniques for better solution. So I feel for as they're using for beverage companies, I don't think so how it will be benefited out of it. They may classify, they may use for classification, I guess. Classification we have logical regression or linear regression, or we have a lot of other techniques. I think that might more suitable for that. I don't know I had answered your question or not, because myself I am not clear with the question. Sorry for that.
Think he meant to say like how can the beverage industry gain? That is what maybe Shomodi wanted to ask, if I'm not wrong. And I believe Shomodi, you're a student. Preeti, the question is, I want to create a machine learning model about breast cancer prediction. So where from can I start any specific algorithm?
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, I can see your your the urge of learning. See, many students or many the faculties, or it might be researchers, happy to learn machine learning, but when it comes to the point of analysis they fail to do it. Okay, so it's my sincere suggestion for you guys. You guys has to be very strong enough for the mathematical foundation also. For us it might be the linear regression models, or it might be mathematical stuff like linear algebraic models or whatever. Okay, so when you are comfortable with probability, linear regression models, stochastic models and all, then you feel very comfortable with analysis also. Okay, so I suggest you should be very comfortable with these kind of mathematical basic stuff. Then you can pitch on to machine learning models. Then you can able to get the output, and you can analyze the output with the help of these kind of models, hypothetical models also. I think that is what you will get. Lot of Coursera technique, Coursera things also. You can start registering. You can learn the things. The Coursera subjects are like this only. Basic mathematics for machine learning also available. You can go to those, register those, learn those. Then you can go for advanced learning. You can use Colab. Colab, I think Colab, you can use it directly on a platform like this. Research dot collab something is that collab is you can use it. It's free of cost also. Okay, so you don't want to pay anything for that also. You don't want download also. Okay, Colab is a tool, again machine learning tool. It will use Python as a language. I think you can use this. You can use this as a small methods. You have to remember the names and all. You can access those. You can use it, pass the data set. It's exploring the things. I think this is one of the finest platform. Those who are beginning. Okay? Colab is one of the tools. I think I had answered your question, but again, it will not suffice. Why? Because when you become master in the somewhat Python, you want to go for R model and all. That depends. Yes, I think I had answered your question.
Yeah, yes, sir. So there is a question from, I think there is a comment from Shumona Sinha saying with
Mm-hmm.
AI-based techniques, we can also identify the specific infected crops with the help of UAV and spray pesticides. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. Yes, sir.
of
So
course.
from that, I think that is, yes, obvious. So should I take the next question? Again, Shomodip, there is a little bit of problem in your framing the questions. I'm trying to really make out the meaning. I think what he again tries to say is that when scanning is done, like when we purchase a food from a mall or something like that, scanning of the food
Mm-hmm.
is done using
Mm-hmm.
X-rays, infrared spectrography, and all those spectroscopy and all those.
Mm-hmm.
So is it right?
Mm-hmm.
Does not it affect the vegetable? How is it good? Because radiation is there. Yeah, but this topic, is it pertaining to the topic? That is my question, sir. Would you like to comment?
I don't want to comment, but yeah, see, X-rays, they be having certain wavelength. They have it's all about electromagnetic spectrum, things, and I don't think so. I can answer for this question, I guess.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to find another question. Okay, so Pooja Kanojia, we can understand the health of fruit by computer vision. Is it possible to check the internal health of the food with the help of machine learning or image processing CNN techniques? Okay, so she
Yes, convolution.
basically wants to ask.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I got her question, sir. I got her question. See, the thing is, when we have convolution neural networks, we should make sure how many hidden layers you had considered. Okay, obviously by default there will be input layer, by default there will be output layer. How many hidden layers and how the model you had constructed, that matters a lot. And first of all, the inner details of the food. That's what we discussed. For example, I have I'll give you one example out of this. It was developed by CFTRI guys only. I have a milk product, milk packet I have. I want to identify whether that milk product is good or whether the milk product went wrong. I want to identify. How can I identify? Okay, so it has been buy the product after 2 days. I cannot use it. Correct? No. So how can I identify whether the food product milk is fine or not? How it's in the details of the food only. Correct? No. So the thing is, they come up with a technology in which with a small sensor node. I think it's a pressure or something, some sensor node they had used. It's a fantastic technology they had come up with, and a small tag has been appended on the top of the packet. Okay, top of the sachet, milk sachet. Okay, so when the milk is when you buy the milk on that day, if it is completely fine and fit, you can buy the milk. You can use it for the complete day or day or one and a half a day, no problem, because the color they will be having three important colors. If it is green color, you can safe to use. If it converts to red color, it is danger, you should not use it. If it is into blue color, you should use it now only. If you wait for some time to use it, it will be wasted. Okay, so then you may have a question, so how come the color will change? There is one the all I think you all know about the content of the milk. They will be having a since it will happen lactose so how the curd will convert and all. So when it releases the oxygen, the pressure will increase immediately. Because of the pressure sensor, it will convert the color to those three color indicators. See, this is a way how we have to think and how we have to come up with the products. I think I had answered your question. It was a very good case study, I guess.
Uh, yes, sir, definitely. The question was answered. So Shomodip has clarified, like he was wanting to ask that how the beverage industry took help of AI, and he says that I have got my answer. Thank you, sir. Okay, so thank you, Shomodip. So there is a question from Professor Rupayan Das saying, my question is a bit different from today's topic, but still I would like to know from you that how I can use machine learning in sensor recharging in WSN. Okay, so the disclaimer is at the beginning, sir, that this is different from the topic, but still he wants to ask you this.
Yes, of course. I'm very happy to take up whatever the question it might be. But sir, please repeat the question one more time, please, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
the question, yes, definitely. The question is, how can I use machine learning in sensor recharging in WSN?
See, the thing is, I think in networks, computer networks, also this machine learning plays a very, very vital role. I think many of you people know about it also. Fault tolerance of a network, fault tolerance of a node, fault tolerance, the link connection between the nodes, how the link connection or malware attack, everything can be identified with the help of machine learning instead of manual operation. Similarly, the charging of the device can be identified obviously based on the threshold value, I guess. So by keeping some threshold value, I think we have to pass the data to the machine learning algorithms, and it will decide it is how it is charging or what it is charging or what are the parameters it for charging, I guess. I think we can use it for no matter. I'll tell you like in this way. I think I was talking to the audience wherever it might be. I used to tell this joke. Okay, after some 5 to 10 years, if you want to sit, how to sit on a chair using machine learning technique. how to stand how using machine learning technique, how to eat will be using machine learning technique. Okay, so I'm telling you in this way, it will reduce the human effort, and it is going to provide the better efficiency with the help of machine learning or artificial intelligence technology. See, there are a lot of difference between machine learning and deep learning. Okay, people again got confused. Machine learning is same as deep learning. No, machine learning is a technique in which the machine will able to learn and predict. That's all. But in case of deep learning, it will learn and it also analyze. Analysis can also be done with the help of machine learning. It is one of the important factor. Okay, I think that will suffice my answer for the question, I guess.
Definitely, sir. So I can see two maximum more questions in the panel. Sir, from Shomodip Ponar. Sir, as we want to develop a personality analyzer which can help to understand a personal mental condition, so how we work on it. So it is obvious, sir, the audience has taken your session to understand machine learning in general also, not only your domain of food technology. But because they are students, so I am taking this question, sir, if you don't mind. I'd like, he says that he wants to
100%, I'm
develop a
very happy.
personality analysis. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so
I'm
how?
very much happy
Yes,
to take. Very
yes,
much
sir.
happy to take. Sorry for the intervening. And very much happy to take up the questions. What matter? I don't matter what type of question it is, because see, when we have the lot of questions and when we have the audience to pose some questions, means that feels very much satisfaction for the speaker. Okay, I may travel across globe for various. It might be Italy or whatever, wherever it might be. If you don't have any questions, if the participants are not posing any questions, that feels it's not about satisfaction for the participant. Sorry, speaker. But we have any kind of question that does not matter. But yes, internal see, yes, the I'll tell you in this way. See, when you want to learn anything, okay, anything for that matter, okay, so the subject expertise is very, very important. Okay, I think everyone agree for this. Okay, it will not a matter for us to speak out on these things before I have a small experience of 12 years in teaching and research. So I can able to somewhat I can able to convince the people, correct? So it's not about 6 months or day night hero, we cannot able to do it. So you require some at least a long term training or sessions you have to attend. You have to get hands-on experience with all these things, then you can be an expert and you can able to incorporate this machine learning in any aspects. I think that is a way we can able to develop the things, I guess, with my knowledge.
Right, sir. Right, sir. So, like Shushmita Pratihar, her question is random forest does random forest algorithm predict malnutrition status? How does it work, sir? Random forest
Please
algorithm.
come out the question again. Yes, random
So
forest
does
algorithm. Yes, sir.
forest algorithm, does it predict malnutrition status also?
Mm-hmm.
Like how it's working?
So, pardon, random forest
Malnutrition.
algorithm. Your voice
Does
is
it
breaking
predict?
somewhat. The second part.
Okay. So it is saying, does random forest algorithm predict malnutrition status? Malnutrition. Ah, malnutrition. Sir, I just assigned you the question. Let me.
Okay, I understood, sir. I understood. Yes, sir, I understood. See, malnutrition is a problem statement. Okay, malnutrition of a food, malnutrition of a person, non, that depends upon the type of a person and how it's a problem statement. See, these machine learning algorithms, you can able to choose up the algorithm and you can apply the algorithm on the respective problem statement or data set. Okay, that will be not decided based on the type of problem statement. Yes, you can of course apply random forest, because I think you all know about the very much advantages of random forest algorithm. Many of you people know about that. Okay, random forest mainly reduces the overfitting in decision trees and helps to improve the accuracy. Mainly, it improves the accuracy of the problem statement, and it is very much flexible for both classification and also regression models. Okay, and it works very well with catalogically and continuous values. Okay, so I think you can use it, no worries. I think I had answered your question.
Definitely, sir, definitely. So I can see the last question on the panel as what is instance-based learning? Instance-based learning. So
Yes. I think somebody who have some knowledge on machine learning, they only can ask this question, because without knowing the thing, I think they won't have, or else they would have heard of this name, instance-based learning, somewhere. See, in machine learning, instance-based learning, sometimes also called as memory-based learning. Okay, so they may use interchangeably the words. Called as instance-based learning is also called as memory-based learning, and it belongs to a family of learning algorithms only. Instead of performing explicit generalization, it will compare the new problems instances and instances seen in the training, and it will pose the answer. That's all. Okay, based on the memory, and it will compare and it will give the answer. It's called as instance-based learning. I think I had answered your question.
definitely, sir. Sir, it's 4:50. Questions are still being posted. So I'm just making a call to you. Should we close it right at 5 o'clock? Like it is 4:50
Uh,
already. Like one question again been
Actually,
posted.
I have one more talk at 5 o'clock at other in
Okay.
university.
Okay,
So
no,
I
definitely.
have to
Then,
wind up
then
at
definitely
least.
you have to close it. Just one last, if you
Uh,
allow, Professor Partha Pratim Bokshi. He has been telling for a while to kindly unmute him. He is from the Department of Hotel Management, School of Hotel Management, but he has got some questions for you. So, Professor Bokshi, I have unmuted you. If you can quickly post your question, quickly ask your question.
Yeah, am I
Professor
audible?
Bokshi, yes, you are audible.
Yeah, am I
Perfect,
audible?
perfect. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Perfect,
Yeah,
you're perfect. Go
fast
ahead.
and for yes, sir. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the ACM student chapter of IEM UM and Dr. Biswajay sir for arranging such insightful webinar, which is very much impactful and knowledge
Professor
driven. I would
Partha,
like
kindly
to
type the question,
thank
questions,
Dr.
please. We have
Gururaj
got
sir.
some.
Yes, sir. Gururaj sir for choosing such a relevant topic which is integrated with food science and computer science and giving us so many knowledge. Sir, we learned a lot from you. Sir, my question is very, very relevant for the current scenario because I have seen many five-star hotels as well as in where the food is arranging and making a large quantity. Food wasting is a very, very common scenario in our society. So how we can actually implement machine learning techniques to minimize food wasting? Is there any techniques to minimize food wasting through machine learning? This is my
Is that
one
question
question.
finished?
This is the one question,
Okay.
sir. Another question is, sir, any database is available for SOP to industrial food productions process, because you are in this research paper. So any SOP is available in database for any industrial food production
Yeah.
process?
Yes, I'll answer your two questions. I think it's
Okay, okay, okay,
you can mute yourself. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Thank you so much for your wonderful gesture. First thing is, see, for data sets availability, you have to search in Kaggle. Kaggle is one of the finest data platforms, and you have to, for example, for your state, in your respective states, there will be, food departments and agriculture they will be having lot of data sets, because there is a department called as food science, and they will be dealing with all these kinds of food science, food aspects and all. I think you can take the data. That is a right thing. And if any particular data you require, and if I have some contact, and if I can make you to get it, 100% I'll do it. Please make a mail for me. Let me check it out. Okay. Respect to particular data set, and with respect to features, if you want, I can. I'll try to get it if possible. I'm not sure. Okay. And the second question, what you said is, it's an important cause actually. The cause is very important, but are you sure we can be apply all the technology in all aspects of causes? I don't think so, because food wastage will be done by we, right? No human beings. Okay, so we can able to have some technique for a method wherein which there are available food, and they can take the food from one place to other place, and they can use the food for some an orphanage or something. That kind of mechanism they can do it. Something like they can they can have some devices in such a way that they used to take the data sets, and they feel that or else it might be something like that based on input population. For example, when the population, by seeing the population, they can decide, right? For 100 people, okay, the food what we prepared is more. Okay, they can decide. For example, they planned for 100, but they came was only 50. What they can decide? Hey, we have only 50 for this audience size. This amount of food is not required. See, this kind of decision they can do it, and they can use some technique and all. But 100% removal of wastage of food is in our hands only. The cause is 100% fine, because even today also, if we have some, one bite of food, we will put namaskar and we'll eat the food. I think we all agree. But I think it's in our hand, first of all. And the second thing is, yes, we can apply the food waste management system in this way. That's all, I guess.
Yeah, sir.
I
Just
guess I
want
had
to
answered or
simplify.
convinced here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I just want to simplify one thing, because yes, it is up to our hands to minimize food wasting. It is in our mind. But my question is whether we can develop any apps-based technology, machine learning, where we can actually track, like the weather forecasting. If somebody, say for example, thousands people we are invited, but before
Mhm.
1 hour we can track that how many people, how many guests actually is
Yeah,
coming,
I think
so
I
that
had
we can
answered that,
schedule the
no?
food. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I said,
Okay,
no?
so
That's
thank
what I
you.
said, no? Based
Thank
on
you for
that,
your thought.
no,
Thank
two
you.
leaves. In the dysentery, we have two things, no? What's the input and what's the output? Based on the input, if it is 100, if the appearance is 50, how many wasted, that will be analyzed, and that kind of small application can be does. That's all.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Dr. Gururaj, sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. I'm sure that you don't need me to tell you how good and how interactive this presentation was, and how much interest the students and also the teachers took in it. Saitya, do you have anything to conclude? Otherwise, Dr. Gururaj sir has got another session to talk in. So
Yes, sir.
I will tell he can.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir, we wrap up the session. So, thank you, sir, for your wonderful speech. We all are happy to listen from
I
you.
should
I would like,
last one comment from my side. I should thank you for giving a wonderful opportunity to speak to you guys, and you guys are really rocking. And respected vice chancellor sir, or head of the department, or Sahitya, and you guys at the chapter, you guys are really rocking. I'm an ACM distinguished speaker, I'm very proud and happy to be a part of this event. And surely in the coming future, if possible, if everything went fine, I'll visit your university and we can have a close discussion, and we can do collaborative research and all. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
yes,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I think I'll leave. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
you may kindly.
oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all
Thank you.
attendees. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so it's 4:57, and I believe that we can end this session now. It is at 5 o'clock. I was supposed to close it. Sahitya, you may kindly now, if you have any other work, you may leave. I will just okay. So is it over for you,
Yes, sir.
Sahitya?
Yes, sir.
So I have
Definitely.
got, yes, thank you. So you may
Yeah.
kindly cross off. I just need
Yes.
to end this in 2 minutes as a formality. Okay, so thank you to all IEM and UEM family members. It's 4:58. Professor Shibun, are you there? Professor Shibun, are you there? So today you had a session. I believe this session cannot be conducted today because it's already 4:58. And I'm sure you will also not like to conduct the session today. Instead, it is better that you start on the, you continue with your session next Monday. Is it okay for you?
Yeah, very good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you're audible.
Very good afternoon, sir. Yes, what you are thinking, it will be convenient for all.
Yes. So yes, as I had already told that if it ends before 5 o'clock, then you will be taking over today. But it is 4:59, and I think we cannot like if you start it now, it will go up to 5:40, 5:45, which will be too much. So I think we can close the session now. Thanks to all IEM and UEM family members. And because it's a rule to keep it on till 5, otherwise the attendances don't get locked. So it's 4:59. I will just keep it on till 1 more minute. So thank you, Professor Shibun. You can kindly start your presentation next Monday. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for considering this.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Professor Shobik. It was a very nice session, and the speaker was really, really good, and the session was really held very well, well conducted by Sahitya. And thank you, Professor Menal. Thank you. Thanks to the entire
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
ACM
sir.
chapter for organizing this event. Thanks to all professors for patiently hearing this. I'm sure it was really wonderful, and we gained a lot out of it. And really we understood some new things, like machine learning can be used in so many fields, in food, in plants. Questions were related to like machine learning in beverages, machine learning in plants. Okay, so thank you so much. Thanks to all IEM and UEM family members. Thank you so much. Let us close this session today. Thank you.